understanding data ethics and governance. So I will say my screen immediately so like we can it's like sorry, I'm unable to share my screen. Um, with anyone actually. Sorry, who's the host? Like, I'm not able to share my screen. But can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Or like,
Yes.
yeah, I wanted to share my screen. I don't know who's the host, so like, they can be unable to share my screen. Sorry, Mutila, could you enable like screen sharing for like everyone? Please, Seven. Please, share. Sorry, is Mutila to be like host? So she can enable me to like see my screen. Okay, 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 I can do that now. Thank you. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I
Um,
can see it here.
okay. So understanding data governance and ethics of the testing. So first, we're moving towards data governance is, we're moving towards data ethics is, importance of data ethics, protecting the key principles of data governance and ethics, implementing data governance and ethics of the testing. So first, uh, what is data governance? Um, Data governance is a framework of policies, processes, standards that ensure the effective management and utilization of data within an organization. Now, if I'm going to break that down to you, for instance, yeah, when you're like making like a call to customer service, for instance, banks, right? And like, they'll ask you what's your name, what is your like account number, and before like they proceed to like move you to another like, section of the bank before they can like, answer your request. And getting us down that person that to answer your request, you still see this is where they ask for those details that was asked previously. So like an example of that is bad uh, data governance. So like with good data governance, like most of these customer service individuals will be able to get most of this data we easily. And that is where data governance comes in. Like you need to build the framework around that so like it can make like great things like accessible, like the data accessible and like minimize risk of like exposing private data, for instance, the BVN. So, data governance is a process of establishing policies, standard goals, standard goals, responsibilities, and controls for managing data across an organization or a system. Data governance helps us answer questions such as what are the goals and objectives of using the data? How do we define the data quality and accuracy? Who has access to what data and for what purposes? How do we monitor and measure data performance? And how do we handle data fixes or incidents? Now, moving on. What is data ethics? Data ethics are the principles and guidelines that govern the responsible collection, use, and handling of data and technology or by techies. Now, data ethics is what builds the rules around um, data governance because you want to make sure that your data is transparent, the data is accurate, your data before you collect it, you have consent. Like um as a tech or as a data analyst or as a data scientist, you need to you go through certain like ethics when like you're making use of data or collecting your data and the risks of handling the data, the profits of the tools of handling certain data and all of that. You need to work around certain data ethics to prevent data breaches and all of that. So data ethics is the study of the moral principles and values that guide collection, analysis, repair. Data ethics helps us answer questions such as who owns that data, who should we obtain consent from? We're also talking about when use of data on your website, for instance, you're making notification, you're creating for instance, an e-commerce website and so you actually someone to sign in, for instance, junior need to sign in before you can, sign up, sorry, before you can make orders to you know the kind of person, the person that they're making orders to and all this stuff. So when you're signing up, you put in your address, your name, your phone number, your email, and all of that. So that is like example of content. You need to make sure the you as a customer need to consent to giving this data out and all of that. So the security, what are the benefits and how, like the second that area of using the data and how we can ensure fairness and transparency in data practices. Fairness and transparency such that as an organization, you want to be transparent as to the customers as to how you are using their data and all of that. And finally, how we can balance, competing interests and stakeholders. So before we proceed to the next line, with the importance of data ethics perspective, I want to break down, the data governance itself. So for instance, right, I'm trying to, I was given like a job or like a task to clean up a house. It's in my parents' house, and that house has been around there for like over 30 years or so. Excuse me. That house has been there for like quite some time, so and I'm not in that house, so I basically don't know much about things that are in the house, about how things are in the house. So in that case, like in a real life scenario is like you signing up to like a website. Before you sign up, right, the organization has no um, idea or has no knowledge about who you are and anything about you until you include those data and you're able to make use of that data. So in the aspect of the house, so I move into the house. The first place I try to go to, I need to clean up the house and sort it out. So first I go to let's say the basement, right? And I start cleaning up stuff. I start arranging things. I start seeing oh there are documents here, there are tools here, there are what else do we have in the house? There are toys, there are unused or old dead sheets and all of that. So that part of data governance is what we call discovery. So after discovery, right, I start to sort these things out into things that are going to be used and what are not going to be used. So of course, I first sort it out and yeah, these are going to be used and what are going to be used. So I sort out the tools, in a separate place, like make it much more easier for me to like access. So I sort out the tools separately, I sort out the documents separately, I sort out the toys separately, I sort out the unused items separately and all of that. So that part of data governance is what we call is what we call classification. So after classification, right? So we need to look at the things that we would need and the things that we won't need in the house anymore. So that is where policy comes in. So we need to look at the reasons as to why uh, I would be needing these things and why I wouldn't be needing these things. So like we create a policy around starting like some of these objects. Then after policies, then you have rules. So the rules is what rules are built on policies. Like if this if this the policy is, for instance, if this shoe is over 5 years, 5 years or more, I should like produce it, or if this document is outdated, if you produce it, that's the policy. Now the rule would be like follow the rules would be following those policies. Like, oh, this is that. Like policy says, oh, if this document is outdated for over 2 years, so that it will. So after like your policies and rules have been like ascertained, you move to at that point now you have the data that that you are using, or the household objects like the tools that you want to keep, the documents that you're keeping, the items that are being on use that are still keeping. Now I can now group all those uh, separate items and put a detail on them, telling me like what this is like. For instance, I put a box of tools, what is this as tools? Put a box of like documents, these are documents. Put a box of toys, these are toys. Now those three separate things are what we call metadata. And metadata in it like is basically what you see it as being like being able to identify what the data is like the way I name those like objects in a separate box. Now, in a real life scenario, is for instance like a spreadsheet database or just a normal spreadsheet, and I have no like idea of what that spreadsheet is like, what's inside the spreadsheet or what the spreadsheet is about. Now, if you have the metadata, I mean, the metadata can easily break down to me what the spreadsheet is about, like the details about that spreadsheet, whether it's like the spreadsheet containing like individuals, like previous like employees or expenses about like an organization's expenses, or some like private data, all that stuff. Just like if you have a spreadsheet, you can see the headers. The headers basically like give you ideas on what um that column is about. Now, when you have all of these together, classification, sorry, the discovery, the classification, the policies, the rules, and the metadata. When you have all of these in place, you would want to automate this process sort of such that it's really easier like access. If you're going to be doing this like manually, like writing all this down, it's going to like take a long while. So like automating this process, as a data scientist or data analyst is what we call data governance. It's like this is framework that data governance is being built on. So that is why, like, we need like data governance when we are handling like data as a data scientist and analyst. So moving on to the importance of data ethics. Data ethics importance would like recognizing the power and the impact of technology in handling vast amounts of data. Yeah, like there is like huge importance on like you have to know the amount of data that you're handling, so that there's no breach. There is like there is accuracy on like the data. For instance, the reason why we all use Google is the fact that if you go to Google right now, it's gonna like give you like accurate results. That is the reason why like we use Google, right? So like we already have that trust on that company because that company they have like huge impact in technology like in handling and processing the vast amounts of data. Then the second point is understanding ethical implications and responsibilities to use data in a responsible and ethical manner. Like as a data analyst, you want to make sure that you follow the right ethics. You don't leak private information out. Like that is like bad practice. Then building trust with users, stakeholders, and the wider community to create a better practices. Just like I said earlier, like for instance, Google. The reason like you all trust Google is the fact that they are, they follow these ethical practices and you bring out like relevant results like when you need like practices to like the classroom. Right. Then the key principles of data governance is privacy and consent. We already spoke about consent earlier, where like, as an individual, like you're signing up, right? So like you giving them their data is consented with the fact that you are allowing them to like misuse the data. So respecting individual privacy rights and obtaining informed consent on for data collection and use. So you as an organization, after like users like have consented to like drop their data with you as an organization you have to do with your own like, part in respecting these individuals' privacy rights like by not like sharing their information like to outsiders or selling their information out. For instance, imagine if banks were selling out to BPN to put everyone's bank contact list. So ensuring transparency in data practices and giving user control over their data. So yeah, transparency is the fact that we are able to tell the users that this is what I'm going to be using your data for, and ensuring that that is what actually going to be using your data for, not like still going behind and like selling the data out to like some other individual. They're giving users control over their data, and when to put it in a simpler sense, is for instance, you have a Twitter account, you can easily edit your bio, change your username, delete and edit like, post and all of that. The data security and protection, implementing measures to safeguard data from unauthorized access, breaches in cyber threats, following best practices for data encryption, access control, and disaster recovery. So when it comes to data security and protection, of recent, there is something called GDPR, that is general data protection, yeah, right, something like that. So that has been enforced since like the first came out in 2016, so it has been enforced since 2018 to make sure that all people or all organizations that is handling like user data make sure that they are following these rules which involves consent, like privacy, like keeping their data like secure. And like it first started like in the European Union and they have made like a rule that if you break any of these laws like concerning GDPR, you'll be fined. So about I think about 20 million euros or 4% of what you need annually as an organization, one of the things. Or I think either one is satisfying. So as an organization, you need to make sure like you are safeguarding your users data. Else, like there'll be breach of trust and like you make losses as an organization. No one wants to like make use of your products and all of that. The data quality and accuracy, ensuring the accuracy, reliability, integrity of data through proper validation and verification processes, minimizing errors, inconsistencies, and biases data. Okay, so ensuring accuracy still brings back to the fact that we always use to do because or we see them because we know that they bring that good results to us. So that is like ensuring like accuracy and reliability and integrity of data. So like these companies themselves are Google and like Wikipedia, they go to proper validation and verification processes before they have these before they have these the data on their website. So they need to make sure like, it is properly validated and like, properly verified. And this ensures that, the data is accurate and reliable at most of the time. Then minimizing errors, inconsistencies, and biases. Now, when it comes to like, a perfect example of this is, for instance, like, if you look at like some of the latest technologies, right, they can, take your pulses, they can read your pulse easily. And since Apple, Apple is like is a Western company, right? So I've seen a scenario whereby like for like a light someone that is really like saying like these white people, when they make use of these watches, like it can easily read their pulses, right? And like I've seen a scenario where like a black person wear the same watch, but he's not able to read the pulse because like he's way darker and like the system or like the product itself cannot read the pulses. So for data governance, you need to like data for all these like test issues. So there are no data biases and all of that. So in that kind of case, you can call that a bias, right? Because like it's not able to read the pulses of all humans. It's just particular to like a certain group. So and that is like an error coming from like the company themselves. So in that case, that is like the data bias. So accountability and responsibility. So establishing clear rules. So that is where like we have like the main people in charge of like data governance, like we are calling the executives, and then you have like the little employees that gather data, like then they receive like instructions from the higher up on like how to like make use of this data and like they give feedback and also give ideas. So establishing clear rules and responsibilities, you have to break things down so that everyone has different rules and responsibilities, and it makes it easy for like to govern that data and make sure that the data that is being passed around is valid and it's like very accurate and like make and how to make use of that data. Then being accountable for data handling practices and adhering to legal, regulatory, and ethical requirements. So when you have this like clear rules, it is easy to like monitor what each person is doing. If there is like a breach of data or something within like the organization, you already know where to like pinpoint where like the where the error is coming from. Now transparency and openness, communicating clearly with stakeholders about data collection, usage, sharing practices, providing explanations about algorithm models and decision making involved in data. So transparency and openness feel important to thinking about, you as an organization should be able to like tell your users, right? You need to tell and be open to your users, customers, telling them like, oh, this is what we're using the data to do. Like, it will be like an openness to like like telling the users as to how you need to use the data, making sure that it is not like, exposing their private data and all of that, protecting like, their images as individuals. So we move to implementing data governance and ethics as a safety. Education and awareness. So in this aspect, we need to stay educated on data governance and ethics principles, regulations, and best practices to engage in continuous learning and professional development, enhance knowledge and skills. So this is like, you on your own making research on like, how to better govern your data and how to implement more ethical principles and regulations and the best practices, one making use of data. Collaboration and communication. Collaboration with cross-functional teams that produce data governance frameworks and policies communicate the importance of ethical data practices peacefully and safely. So this is like, moving to, when you're like implementing data governance frameworks, like some organizations they do their data governance themselves, but there are also like organizations that just they just like engage in just doing data governance frameworks. That is their main work. So you can choose to collaborate with these people like as a third party to like help in governing your data. Um, you know, get better security, like work with like better privacy and protection, like ethics and principles, and all of that. And communication will involve like as you bring up like new people into the organization, right? You educate them or communicate to them on the best practices on how to like manage and like work with data. Then ethical design and development and data governance and ethics consideration into the data and development of systems and applications. So like before you even have like the data governance framework, you need to like you build like how we stated earlier, like we started with the discovery, the classification, the policy, the rules, and like the metadata. So these are like design and development in like how to like create like a good data governance framework. Then proactively identify and mitigate that is like reduce potential biases. Like we said within like the Apple Watch and not being able to like which sources of it that are we data. So with a good design, you should be able to like identify and mitigate which is reduce potential biases and privacy with and ethical challenges. In conclusion, data governance and ethics are crucial for technology for techies in the digital age. Like as of right now, yes, it is very, very, very crucial because there are a lot of data that are being shared worldwide. And we need to make sure that rightly secured and like protected so you don't get like breached or like being hacked or all that stuff. And we need to make sure that the data that is being like sent out is you know is well consented like by the customers. Then upholding ethical data practices to build trust with users and stakeholders. Like I said with Google, we make use of Google because we trust them and what you put on Google doesn't doesn't just leak. I don't think I've heard like situations like that. I've heard about places like Facebook selling data, like doing the Trump election and all of that. Like they sold like data to like German or foreign companies, all that stuff. So that is like breach of trust. That is very bad for like organizations. Another is implementing data governance and ethics require education, collaboration, and ethical design. We just took on ethical design and collaboration. So yeah, implementing that like requires like education, requires a lot of collaboration and ethical design because like for education you need to be informed, the collaboration, you know, you get to like see new things, like you get to like experience like different ways to giving your data and ethical design. You get to like make use of different like different and it's all different ways, you know, you can best practice ethical data ethics. Then let us commit to continuous learning, collaboration, and ethical decision making in data handling. And together we can create a responsible and ethical digital future. Thank you everyone. That is it about data ethics. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. I'm happy to say that I'm not surprised at how far you've gone, how far you've come. Everyone, I want to say this, Mr. Emmanuel Ugu was also part of the Bincom team at one point in time. And he was really, really good, really, really good. So looking at his profile and how far he has come, he's already a software engineer. He works with Transact Global and Decoder India. And he has other remote jobs he is also doing. I could remember back then in 2022 when we joined Bincom together. I remember that he was always there. He was always the person saving me at any hour of the night, 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m. He's there working and working very hard. So thank you so much, Mr. Mao, for the insights shared. I've really learned a lot, and I know a lot of persons have also learned a lot. Getting to know that implementing data governance and ethics requires continuous learning and collaboration is something we shouldn't forget. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. We are very, very glad to have you. We are very, very happy to listen to you. And we also hope you just stay around as you also listen to our internal speaker, Miss Yemisi. Please, you just give us some minutes of your time. We'll get to listen. And I have questions to ask, actually. So I believe probably any other person may have questions to ask. That's why we just want you to still give us a little more of your time so that we can ask questions and before we call it a wrap. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so Ms. Yemisi, over to you. Okay, before Ms. Yemisi takes the floor, some slides have been sent, Bincom slides have been sent on the chat box. I would just like everyone to access the slides and go through it. It's very important for this event. Thank you very much, everyone. Over to you, Ms. Yemisi.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I enjoyed Mr. Emmanuel's presentation. It helped a lot in also understanding what I'm presenting today. Currently, I can't share my screen because I am not the host. Please grant me access to do that. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I believe in few minutes you'll be granted access. Please just hold on some more.
All right. Okay.
You can continue. Good afternoon, Mrs. Yemisi. You can continue.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. Can anybody hear me?
Yes. All right. Is my screen visible to everyone? Hello.
Okay, yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Ms. Yemisi. Please go ahead.
Hello.
I can hear you, Ms. Yemisi. Can you hear me as well? I guess your network is breaking.
Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes, very well.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So good afternoon. Today we shall be talking about yes. Hello. So good afternoon, everyone. And my presentation today is going to be talking about understanding data governance and ethics as a techie. So we're going to start with the introduction. So now data is like the new oil. It's like the most valuable assets in business. And as data becomes more and more important, so does data governance and ethics. There is data everywhere. We use data for a lot of things. AI is powered by data. Recommendation engines are powered by data. We use data to make wise business decisions. You can't make a sound decision, even in your normal life. You need to have information about what you're making the decision on in order to make the decision. So data is very important, and it is a valuable asset. And it is important to ensure that we handle this data responsibly and ethically. So now we'll be defining data governance and ethics. So data governance is the set of processes and policies that organization uses to manage their data. And the aim is to ensure that data is managed in a consistent and secure manner. Data governance is basically a set of policies that organizations use to ensure to have a much more consistent and accurate data, to make their data as consistent and as accurate as possible. So data ethics is the principle or frameworks that guides how data is being collected and shared. So the ethics is the framework. Let's just say the governance, the policies in governance are made up of ethics, if you understand what I mean. The ethics influence the policies. Like the policies an organization set in handling their data is influenced by the ethics of what they want to achieve, the ethics, the moral standing, and also the technological standing. So now, next, as a techie, it is important that we understand data governance and ethics. This is because as data scientists, we're talking about as techie that handles data at this point, probably data scientists, data analysts, will be responsible for collecting, using, and sharing data. And we have to make sure that we handle this data in the most responsible and ethical manner. So now we'll be talking about data ethics. So I mentioned that data ethics influence the policies that guides data governance. So that's why I'm going to talk about data ethics first before I go into data governance. So data ethics. So data ethics is quite, we are just, data boom has occurred now. So there is much use of data now than ever before, because we're in the age of data, we're in the age of internet. So with this, my apologies. My apologies for that. So with this data boom that's occurred right now, we have to figure out a way to manage the data in a responsible manner. We have to be responsible with it. So now, these are the principles in data ethics. Like the first one is transparency. Data subjects should be informed about how their data is being collected, used, and shared. Consent. Data subjects should provide their consent before their data is collected, used, or shared. For example, assuming we want to collect data about a particular thing, a particular subject, probably a phone number of a list of a population, like a sample population, we need to have their consent, because the phone number is a very private thing. It's not everybody that you want to have access to your phone number sometimes. So you need to have their consent in order to be able to gather that data. Then data minimalization, only the data that is necessary should be collected for obvious reasons. Data security, the data should be secure, it should be protected, and it's not everybody that should be able to access it. Only important people that requires should be able to access it. And data privacy, data should have the right to, the data subject should have the right to access, delete, or port their data. So now, this is the importance of data ethics. Data ethics is important because it helps to ensure that data is collected ethically, used ethically, or shared ethically. That means collected, used, and shared in the right way, both morally and responsibly. Data ethics also help to protect the privacy of individuals and to prevent discrimination. So now these are the benefits of data ethics. The first one is trust. If the populace or the users or the subjects that are giving their data know and they trust that if the data scientist is able to follow the data ethics properly, it is going to improve the trust of the user that are giving out their data for use. Innovation, if the data is used, if the data is used properly, or if the data ethics is right, there will be multiple ways in the right moral sense that to use data, to access data, leading to breakthroughs. Compliance, if you use the data morally, you follow the rules set by the government on how to manage data, and then sustainability. And now we'll be going to data governance. So the following are the key principles in data governance. The first one is data ownership. The data should have a single owner who is responsible for its management. You have to have someone clearly set someone, like assign the role to a particular person or a group of people who will be responsible for the data management. Data access to data should be controlled to ensure that only authorized users have access. Data retention, data should be retained for the appropriate period of time. Data security, data should be protected from the unauthorized access of use. And data quality, the quality of data should be very good. The data should be as accurate as possible, because without accurate or quality or reliable data, we'll not be able to make a reliable decision. All right. Data governance. Importance of data governance. Data governance is important because it helps to ensure that the data is accurate. As I mentioned, accurate data is the best data. Data is complete. It also speaks to the accurate. To be accurate, data is consistent. If data is consistent and data is reliable, it will improve the accuracy of prediction of use of data. Data is secure. If the data is secure, data will be accurate, data will be reliable, and then the data is available. If the data is not available, then the data is not available. You can't use the data if it's not available. So the data has to be available. So data governance can also help to ensure that data is used in a way that is aligned with the organization goals. So now the following are the benefits of data governance. The first one is improved data quality. If we follow the set of policies in place, the rules for data usage, then the data quality will be improved. The second one is, can you still hear me? Am I still audible? Hopefully I am. The second
Yes,
is,
yes.
Yes, you are.
right, that's good. The second is increased data security. If we follow the policy set in place by the standardization method, which is what we are following by data governance, then the data security will be higher. And in that way, it is also going to reduce data risk. And using the data in the right way, it will improve customers' experience. And using the data, making decisions from the data gathered, it will increase operational efficiency, it will increase data agility, and it will improve data compliance. So now in conclusion, data governance and ethics are important for businesses of all sizes. It is important as techie that we understand these concepts and how to apply them in what we do. So these concepts are, the first one, data ethics is the moral framework in which that's like the concept of how data should be used, how data should be handled, and data governance are the framework in place from the concepts gotten from data ethics. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you can ask. I'm done.
Okay, so I was saying thank you very much, Ms. Yemisi. That was also very wonderful and very, very insightful. All right, before I don't know if other persons have questions to ask, but then once again, I want to say thank you to our external speaker and thank you to our internal speaker, Ms. Yemisi. Concerning this data, understanding data ethics and governance, I have a question, something that happened today. Okay, so we're talking about web scraping, and someone said web scraping is illegal. So now with our understanding of data governance and ethics, what can we say about web scraping? Is it illegal or it is legal? Because most times the sites actually don't know what we do with the information we get from their sites. But just because we have access to codes that can do those things, we go ahead and do them. So what do we have to say about that? I don't know who will be going first. Is it the external speaker or the internal speaker? I think, okay, the external speaker should go first.
Okay, so when it comes to web scraping, right? You're already scraping what you're already saying, for instance, right? So that what you're saying is what everyone else is saying. So like if they were scraping such kind of like, such kind of data, like it's not actually illegal unless the company has like, a rule against that. Like for instance, Facebook, right? We have a rule against like what like for instance you want to get like a list of users, for instance, their posts and their posts and like their pictures and all of that from there. Though like everyone has access to like seeing the pictures, like but like they still have like a rule against it, and they even have like they have ways of like blocking it from replicating from the website. But for other websites, for instance, Amazon is they sell like products and all of that, and like everyone is seeing these products themselves. So like if you're restricting like this products to like to put on your website and to make use of data, so I think like in that kind of scenario it's still very legal because like that is something everyone is seeing. So like it's a general something. It's not like something hidden. So if it's where it's going to be illegal is where you are like treating data that is private. Like seeing something like on Jumia or this and that data that you're seeing is private. If we're going to start restricting all users like details and users passwords and all of that, now that is where restricting becomes illegal or like hacking and getting like some very personal data. That is where creating becomes illegal. But if it's something like everyone else is seeing or making use of, that one is like that's very much like you could do that.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Imawa. So from what I understood from what you've said is that web scraping becomes illegal when it is restricted and it now becomes a form of hacking, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, Miss Yemisi, do you have something to say about it? Or not even Miss Yemisi alone, any other person? We have anything to say? Floor is open. Then I still have another question while I'm waiting for. Are you ready, Miss Yemisi? Do you want to talk or I shall still ask my next question? Should I go ahead?
All right. Okay. So there's nothing really special for Mr. Hard. Mr. Open gate. Am I still audible or has my network gone again? Hopefully, I'm still audible. Yeah. So you can scrape like a Jumia site or something, maybe for products, prices, and all. That's still legal. But the moment you try to gain access into things that you are not supposed to gain access, things that are not public information, for example, like you gave the username and password, at that point you're not scraping, you're hacking. Kukuma carry the black cat and say you want to become black hacker. Maybe you know what they do. It's part of hacking. It is hacking. So that's that. But scraping, like ordinary scraping on its own, is not illegal. But the moment you are looking for information that you're not supposed to get access to, you're trying to trick things to get information, then at that moment, it's not scraping, you're hacking, and that is illegal.
So that was very nice. All right. Thank you. Then I think what cut across both speakers, the presentations were transparency. How do we ensure transparency when it comes to data ethics and governance? Because like we know, these persons actually don't know what you're doing. So how do you now show transparency? I don't know if we understand my question.
Sir, could you come again? My network was lagging for you.
Okay, so the question I asked was, how do we show transparency? Because I know from what you taught and from what the internal speaker has also taught, we saw that transparency is part of the ethics of a techie. So now how do we exhibit transparency when it has to do with data, especially when the consent of these persons are not intentionally sought?
Okay, I just saw someone like on the class terms and conditions. Yeah, that is a very good example. Like reading the terms and conditions, for that, or like going deep to read like the about the company and like the company it is it is necessary that you give out like details about your company. For instance, you are going to use an API, right? Now that API itself will have some documentation on how to go about using it and what you are to get as a response. So like same goes for as a company. A bank, right? Like you have to say like, oh, if you come to my bank, I will give you this, I will give you that, I will promise not to like say your account, I'm going to give you so package, just like we have MTN and Airtel. They want you to use their own services because of the packages they have. So they say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm not going to do with you, like so things like that. You could even like go online to like make your own personal tag. So, but it's always there, like what they are going to do with your data. It's always there.
Thank you very much. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you, Miss Yemisi. Miss Yemisi, do you have something to say, or we can call it a wrap?
I have nothing else to add. We can wrap it.
Okay, so I believe everyone here has actually learned one or two things, but I also have been reminded of one or two things. I want to appreciate everyone. Most especially our external speaker. We really appreciate you for your time, and we thank you. Thank you. Even when the link was sent late, you still went ahead, downloaded Zoom quickly as fast as you can, just to ensure that you are part of the event today. We really, really, really appreciate your presence. Thank you very much. Thank you, Miss Yemisi. Thank you, everyone that has been a part of this event. And we are sure you have learned a great deal. Thank you, and see you all next time. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
yeah.
So
Thank
I
you,
guess
everyone.
I've called it a wrap properly.
Thank you, everyone. Manuel,
Alright.
sorry, I can see you. No problem.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so Mr. Ridwan, that's all for today, right? Is there anything I need to